Hello, this is CK Prano 7, and we are back for another commentary, this time Heroes vs. Villains Round 8. Sorry if it's been a while, I've just been very busy with things in the real life, but things are slowed down now, so I have a little more time. I figured that right now would be a good time to do another commentary, since it's been a while since my last one. Before we begin, let's try something here. With the opening I've made for the series. Yep, that's the opening theme for Heroes vs. Villains, made by me and Ace McKillioface. Yeah, I figured just like Evil Skeleton King did with Disney vs. Anime, I love the idea of just making an opening theme, kind of like what a lot of our favorite Disney TV cartoons do, you know, how they have an opening song and opening theme and all. And I also plan when I start doing part 2 of the series, I'll remake that opening, but this time with television characters and etc. So, yeah, with no further ado, let's go ahead and get started on round 8. So we start off with Francis and Thomas O'Malley's group going to meet with the other animals and stuff. But they come across some old rivals of Francis and Bluebeard, Khan and the Herman brothers. Now, for those of you who haven't seen Felidae, Khan and his henchmen, they're not exactly villains, or at least they're not villainous characters. They're more just, well, jerks.
Kong, how can you associate with these miserable rats?
Bluebeard, you ugly old furball.
Yeah, I have to agree with History Buff. The English dubbing is kind of off at times in this film.
I can see you're scratching for a fight. Okay.
But I mean, hey, it's not as bad as the English dubbing in, say, The Magic Voyage. That's even worse. You know, I just can't get over the fact of how big Khan is. I mean, is he just a mutant, or what's his deal?
Hey man, I'm pissing myself with fright. And as for you, cutie pie, you can bet your sweet whiskers that you and me, just the two of us, got a date. And in the not-too-distant future, that you won't forget in a hurry. And so, till then, sweet thing.
In case you're wondering, Khan wasn't exactly flirting with O'Malley, he was just challenging him for a fight in the future, that's his way of saying it. So then we go to the Horn King, sending Clavius out to go capture the genies that they believe can help them find where the Black Cauldron is. So then we go to Hades, who goes to recruit Omadon into Maleficent's faction.
And we dance, we kiss, we schmooze, we carry on, we go home happy. What do you say? Come on.
And they go to Dr. Facilier, who was sent by the Horn King to go and see if Prince John and his allies would like to forge their factions together. And they all agree. However, I can't help but think, of course I'm the one that made the series and all, but I can't help but think that, I can understand why Facilier would recruit Prince John and Madame Mim and Yzma and the Queen of Hearts and maybe Gnorga, but why on earth would you want Froglip, guys? I mean, he's not that useful. Just saying. Yeah, as a lot of you probably know, Facilier, he definitely is my favorite villain. I mean, it's a shame that we only have one movie of footage of him to work with. Anyway, we go back to the Arliss Legacy, where Scroop and Preed both pick on Jim. You know, something I never noticed about Preed in Titan AE? I mean, I get that his race of aliens is supposed to be like, hold on a second. Pete. Sorry, my little dog keeps rubbing his back against the edge of the chair. It's rubbing fur off him and all that. Anyway, I know that Preed's race of aliens are supposed to be like these fruit bat type things, but I never noticed these flaps of skin in his armpits. I guess that's what used to have been wings. You know, I was originally going to have Osmosis Jones show up in this scene, but it didn't quite work out too well. It didn't seem that necessary. And Preed sort of, I guess, flirts at Mulan or something, kind of how he is and all. And Mr. Arrow comes in to see the carnage.
You know the rules. There'll be no falling on this trip. Any further offenders will be confined to the brig for the remainder of the voyage. Am I clear, Mr. Scroop?
And of course, Silver and Corso warns him not to get all ticked off and all. Yeah, as I said before, Jim and Mulan's story arc is the one that I've been very excited to work on for this series, and it's actually a story arc I'm hoping to continue throughout this series as well. Anyway, now we go to our first fight. The forces of Merlin and Gandalf versus the forces of Mok and Maleficent. My very first ultimate melee or battle royale type fight. And I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of how it turned out. And I love this music, too. So yeah, Maleficent and Mok's allies come in to try to deal with Merlin and all the other wizards and stuff. So we get this bit between Gandalf and Peace, who was once Necron 99 but is now Peace, them fighting against Maleficent and her goons. And Maleficent captures Gandalf, to Frodo's surprise, and we get this bit between Merlin and Mok, but Mok just deflects the magic back to Merlin, shooting him up into the sky. And then this bit between Avatar and Hades. And we get Weehawk, and love this bit I did with Abbas Mal. Yeah, I like Weehawk in the film Wizards. He was pretty awesome. And yeah, Hades captured Eleanor, and we get this bit between Fairy Godmother and Rasputin, who turns her into stone and takes away the magic wand. And this bit between Zigzag and the Good Fairies. And poor Fido can't ever get a break. And Zigzag just captures the fairies. And then the Schlemmer brothers show up. And Peter Pan knocks Zip out cold, making Toad very pissed. And Obadon with Peter Pan, and the brothers just capture Robin Hood. Yeah, I was originally gonna have Peter Pan and Robin Hood not get captured, but due to their footage issue and all, I decided for them to be captured for some time. And the only ones that are left are Little John, Frodo, Arthur, Archimedes, Tinkerbell, Avatar, Weehawk, and Peace are pretty much all that's left. Next we have Gorbash versus Jafar. So Jafar, disguised as the bandits and all on flying horses, capture Sir Peter, and Gorbash and Cornelius hear about this and go to see if they can save him. The Flight of the Dragons was an okay film. It wasn't great, but I didn't think it was terrible. I thought the animation style reminded me a little bit of The Last Unicorn. Interesting thing, I was originally gonna have Jafar be in the Battle Royale instead of Hades, have Jafar fight Avatar, but I decided but this fight came up in my head, and I decided to switch Jafar out with Hades, which I think it worked very good that way. And it turns out Peter and Gorbash are one.
Peter and Gorbash are one. Peter is in Gorbash.
I will say the dialogue isn't like that throughout the film, but a couple times it's kind of weird. So next we have Milo Thatcher versus the Snow Queen. Now this was sort of a last-minute fight added into the round, kind of. And I'll be honest, originally I wasn't really planning on including the Snow Queen, and by the Snow Queen I mean the movie The Snow Queen. But then this idea came up in my head, and I thought, yeah, screw it, I might as well include her into the plot. Don't know what I'm gonna do with her throughout the rest of the series, but I'll think of something. As well as the heroes from the movie. And the Snow Queen captures Kida, and sends the rest of the mercenaries out of her castle. Next is Freddy and Marina versus Ka. So Freddy's crew runs into Marina as well as the pirate crew, who are still looking for Sinbad after he was captured by Ursula and them, and is right now locked in the Evil Queen's castle. But Ka slithers in and tries to get Ariel. You know, something I'm surprised. You know, this is something I'm surprised none of you people have brought up. That Ariel seems to have just a way of not getting along with snakes or anything. I mean, think about it. She already has a rivalry with Messina, but it's kind of possible she may have formed a rivalry with Ka now, which that might lead to something in the future. And now we have Genie versus Clavius. Interesting thing, I was originally for this fight, I was gonna have Clavius pop in the middle of Aladdin's faction, and he was gonna fight Genie in front of them and all that, and I was gonna have Clavius, do his villain song, You Gotta Love It, during this, but I decided to go against it. Because, I don't know, some of the lyrics of that song didn't seem to fit very well with the scenario. It almost sounds like it's something he would sing if he was going to portray the Horn King's faction or something. And then, yeah, Clavius, I don't care that much for a villain. I mean, I don't hate him, but I just don't care that much for him. And I'm surprised, he doesn't have that much screen time in any of these series. I mean, he has quite a bit of fight footage. So now we go to the interlude. So we go to the Royal Council, as they discuss the war, as well as the Cauldron and stuff. So let's make a roll call here. We got King Stefan and King Hubert. We got King Papa and Princess Irene. We got King Arthur, the King and Grand Duke from Cinderella, Queen Uberta and Rogers, We got Sultan, King Haggard, the Emperor of China and Shifu, King Nod. We got Sir Ector and King Morpheus, who tells them about the cauldron. And we got King Gerald and Princess Tigra, Nemo, Camille, and Icarus. The Atlantis King, I can't remember what his name is. I know what his name is, I just can't say it very well. Kashim or something like that? I don't know. And there was also Professor Genius. So as they continue discussing this, Haggard walks off. Traitor. And then we go to Francis' crew as we have another roll call of animals. We got Francis and Bluebeard. We got Pongo and Perdita. Danny and Sawyer. Dodger and Oliver. Charlie and Itchy, who we haven't seen since round 1. I figure this would be a perfect time to bring them back into the story. We got Dodger's gang here. Scat Cat and his alley cats and Thomas O'Malley. We got Jean Tom and Rose Pierre, the heroes from Gay Parade. Lady and the Tramp. Ralph and Snitter. And Tom and Jerry. As they discuss about the Animal Cruelty Squad, as well as the possibility of they have to be careful of Ratigan's faction as well. So they pretty much have a rivalry with 2 different factions of villains. So yeah. Meanwhile, Odette finds her friends, and just shortly after they find each other, they run into Gurgi, who tells them about Frollo and capturing all the prisoners and stuff. As they plan a jailbreak. Meanwhile, it turns out Silver, Corso, and Freed are all traitors and working for Zurg's faction, as they too are into the whole immortality thing in the Holy Land and stuff. Oh, by the way, something I should probably bring up is that for the sake of this series and for the sake of all these space characters being involved with the characters on Earth, the Holy Land is that Zurg and Tyler are looking for is going to be on Earth instead of another planet, like how it is in Heaven Mill 2000, just for the sake of it.
If you're speaking, gentlemen,
Start reading! Totally blinking!
I love Silver, he's awesome.
just stick to the plan, bug brain twit.
And Thrax finds that very amusing. So on to the next fight, 26 and Friends versus the Queen of Hearts. So yeah, our heroes here from Dinotopia are just wandering around as they come across the Queen of Hearts and her card soldiers. And I especially love this music right here. I know that Zero the Killer used this music piece in Movie Villain Wars, and I thought it would be perfect for this round as well. I believe it's from the Spider-Man video game, I think, or something, I don't know. See, for those of y'all who don't know who these characters are, as I said, they're the heroes from Dinotopia Quest for the Ruby Sunstone. So we got 26, who is this female Chasmosaurus. She's a Chasmosaurus, not a Triceratops. There is a difference. If you want to know, look at the prehistoric character fact file that I posted on the forum. And you got Kex, who is the boy with the skateboard. You got Spaz, who is the young Dilophosaurus, that little dinosaur. Kind of like the dinosaur from Jurassic Park with the frill and stuff. And then you got Mara, the girl, of course. An interesting fun fact, and this is something I think JC would be very interested in, that the actress who voices Mara is the same actress who voices Twilight in My Little Pony. So yeah, interesting fact there. I can't remember what else she voices, but she voices some other characters that we should be familiar with. So yeah, it's very interesting. There are quite a few interesting actors they picked for this film. Like, they got Malcolm McDowell to voice Octar. There's Michael Clark Duncan to voice the T-Rex in the film. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, the film's pretty cheesy, but I remember enjoying it as a kid. So, yeah. And the Queen of Hearts just beats the living crap out of all of them. Another interesting thing is, I was originally going to have the Queen of Hearts to fight Danny and Sawyer and them, but I decided to change these characters instead. Next we go to another one of my favorite fights of this round, Tarzan and Mowgli versus Sharptooth and Claudanus. So Claudanus tells Scar, Zira, and Woundwort about his plan by using Mock's hypnotic device to hypnotize the mighty Sharptooth. You know, if you guys really stop and think about it, I think Scar's forces is going to be quite a force to reckon with for this series, because in all the other series, it's just Scar himself with the hyenas, with Zira and her lionesses, Zira, I already said Zira, Shere Khan and Kaa, that's about it. But in this series, besides them, we got Woundwort, we got Claudanus and his ability to use computers, which, who knows what that can lead to. We got the Land for Time villains, we got Drake. So, yeah, he's got quite a faction going on here, and who knows what's going to happen there. So, Claudanus goes off with Sharptooth to find Tarzan and Mowgli, and he eventually does. Yeah, Claudanus, I think, is an underrated villain, mainly because he doesn't get used that often in these series. And yeah, it's because he doesn't have that much footage, but I'm just surprised no one ever thought of the idea of his ability of using computers to be used for something. So yeah. And of course, the use of the Tarzan TV footage of this. And despite what... Okay, that's a weird place to pause. Despite what some people like History Buffs say about the Tarzan series, it's a guilt pleasure for me. I actually liked it. Yeah, it has its stupid moments and moments that don't make a lot of sense, but the thing is, some of the stuff they put in the TV show is something that Disney did not make up, that they're basing off of the original novels. For example, like Queen La, she was an actual character from the original novels. And the underground world that the dinosaurs live in, Pellucidar, is another thing that's in the original novels as well. So give Disney some credit for actually putting something that was from an original storybook into the series. So, yeah. And we get this bit between Mowgli and Claudanus. Mowgli fighting against a domestic cat, that's kind of weird. Kind of a downgrade when you think about the fact that he faced off a tiger. And Tantor and Turk come to the rescue. And everyone must run away! Run away! And Claudanus and Sharptooth live to fight another day. The first fight where Claudanus does not get killed. So now we go to Anastasia versus Lady Tremaine. So Rasputin gives Tremaine the magic wand that he took from Fairy Godmother, and sends her out to go get Anastasia, who Hades and Maleficent both failed to rid of, or capture. Yeah, I made this fight so that way we can see Anastasia and them again, because we haven't seen them since round 2. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with Dimitri and them after this, exactly. I mean, because really if you stop and think about it, these characters don't have that much fight footage in Anastasia. Their only real fight footage is during this bit in the finale of the film when they're fighting Rasputin. That's about it. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But I'll think of somebody. And Anastasia is captured, and leaving Dimitri and Vlad wondering what to do. And finally we have Buzz Lightyear versus Zygon. This wasn't really meant to be a fight, but more or less Buzz and his friends going on a scout mission to see if they can figure out what Zurg and his forces are up to. But instead, they run into Zygon and his forces. Love this bit I did here with Mira, pretty much sabotaging one of the robots. Kinda sick, but yeah. Shows you don't want to mess with her. And they all retreat. And I love how the ending of the music syncs up with this ending right here. So yeah. Now we go into the epilogue, where we cut back to the Legacy. Morphine his goofy self.
Look,
So yeah, Jim
what you did,
pretty much tells Mulan about, you know,
thanks.
about her saving him and all. You know, as much as Mulan 2 wasn't that great of a sequel, I mean, it's not the worst sequel Disney has done. At least in my opinion, it isn't. And I'll be completely honest, this may sound a little weird, but even though the animation style isn't that great when you compare it to the first film, I'll be honest, I think I kind of like Mulan's appearance in the second film just as good as the first one. I don't know, maybe the way they animate her, like in the scene, she just looks kind of beautiful, I'm just saying. Maybe even a little more beautiful than she did in the first film. I mean, I don't know. And Silver kind of figures and sees this going on. And I actually do like the idea of Silver forming not just a father-son relationship with Jim, but also a father-daughter relationship with Mulan. Anyone ever thought about that?
Is that so?
And Jim, of course, is trying to figure out why is Mulan even on the ship in the first place. Like she's up to something. So we go to the epilogue, where Milo and his group run into Julie, Colin, and their friends. Now, for those who don't know, this is Julie right here with the glasses. She's the main protagonist in Heavy Metal 2000. And I'll be honest, I don't really care much for the heroes either. I don't hate them as much as Tyler, but yeah. And here's Colin right here, the main hero from Highlander, The Search for Vengeance, the movie Marcus is from. And Jermaine from Heavy Metal 2000, don't care for him. And Dahlia, just the lead female character in Highlander anime film. So we cut back to Aladdin and Moses' group as they meet with Odette's group and plan a jail to break the prisoners out of Frollo's prison. You know, this is kind of an odd faction here. I mean, we got an Arabian prince. Whoa, Goofy, that's a weird face. We got an Arabian prince, his magic carpet, and a little monkey. We got 3 American iconic cartoon characters, and by that I mean Mickey, Donald, Goofy. We got the Prophet of God. We have a trio of mutant rock and roll singers. We have 2 talking penguins, a princess who's been turned into a swan, a talking turtle, frog, and puffin, and of course Mickey's pet dog Pluto. You know, if you told this to someone that this was an actual story, I swear they would think we were high right now. And so we got McLeach going out to hunt down Littlefoot himself.
I didn't make it all the way through 3rd grade for nothing.
You know, I heard the truck that McLeach drives is based off an actual vehicle.
I am King Haggard.
So King Haggard reports the Horn King's faction, or at least allies with the Horn King's faction. And just as he's about to tell them where the cauldron is, the Horn King orders Clavius to command the genie to tell them. And it's at the Royal Council. Love that montage of laughs. And so, everyone prepares for battle. And in outer space, a new threat is on the way. So yeah, that's Heroes vs. Villains Round 8. And I'm glad you guys enjoy it. Hopefully I'll get the other commentaries up for like Disney vs. non-Disney villains, Disney Villain War, non-Disney villains, Disney Heroes vs. Villains, and Movie Villain Wars is another one. And I'm actually considering maybe doing a commentary on G.A. Villain's newest series, Live Action Villain Wars. That is as soon as he gets a forum up for his series. So yeah, this is Tiki Prime 7. I hope you all have a nice day now.